Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 131, Where We Met. Where do you plan to head next? Raphatalia. I think I have to see the guy I don't want to meet. Naofumi. What? Raphatalia. Phiro. Where would that be? Rishia. Raphatalia looks at the path I'm following. She seems to understand. She holds back a sigh. I'm surprised she could guess from that sentence. Is she an Esper? I guess she had saw it coming when I obtained the land. Are you selling Phiro? Phiro. Is that man really that scary? Naofumi. Phiro seems to understand as well. She looks at me with the eyes of an abandoned puppy. Phiro usually acts quite carefree, but I guess she got a trauma from this place. Though I think she could kill that man instantly if she set her mind to it. Is it that phenomena where an elephant has his leg tied to a tree as a child, so he doesn't try to run away as an adult? See baby elephant syndrome. It might be something like that. Calm down, I'm not selling anyone. Naofumi. I got it, Phiro. Wa. Rishia. Rishia, she's a noble so she probably knows. Granted, a fallen noble. There is also a chance she doesn't. I head down a back street and end up in front of the ever-so-familiar tent. My, slave dealer. The slave dealer, who I don't want to meet, greets me with a bored expression. If you think about it, there are very few people who would go out to buy slaves in the middle of the day. This person is more famous in the town as a monster merchant. If it isn't the hero of the shield. It's been quite a while. I've heard much about your victory. Slave dealer. Yeah, it's been a while. Naofumi. I was sure you had forgotten about me. Slave dealer. I wouldn't be able to forget about a shady character like you even if I tried. Naofumi. It's quite hard to forget this man. He has a sort of unique aura. It's a feeling similar to the accessory merchant. I guess he needs to act like that to run this business. The last time I was here was when I came to purchase Phiro's claws. It was around the time I was forbidden from using class up. At that time, I had tried to escape to Siltwelt or Shield Free Iden to class up Phiro and Raphatalia. I believe that this man had some connection to the Queen. Though he has never personally met her. You've been quite busy. I didn't think you would have dubious ties to this country's government. Naofumi. That doesn't change the fact that I approached the hero of the shield because I found him interesting. Slave dealer. Yes, I'm aware of that. Naofumi. Now then, how can I help you today? Slave dealer. It's about your real profession. Naofumi. Oh. Slave dealer. The slave dealer's eyes sparkle for a moment. What are you so excited about? Don't think it will be easy to shortchange me. Is he happy that a famous person like me is fighting with his slaves? While this is a fact, that doesn't mean they are powerful because I bought them from you, you know. What price range are you looking in? Slave dealer. Currently, I have 5,000 silver coins remaining of what the Queen gave me. I'll need the old man to make some more weapons, so I shouldn't spend too frivolously here. For now, I would like to purchase some demi-human slaves around the price of 3,000 silver coins. If possible, I would like them to be of low level. Naofumi. What do you plan to use them for? Slave dealer. Why do I need to tell you? Naofumi. I know. You acquired some land and need some slaves there. Slave dealer. I think I've said this before, but don't ask for things you already know. Naofumi. Really, how much does this person know? If he told me he could see the future, I might believe him. Please come over here. Slave dealer. The slave dealer leads me to the back of the tent. As we start to follow him, Phiro stops us. What is it? Naofumi. I don't want to go. Phiro. It seems the darkness of the tent and the smells are setting off her trauma. I'm already used to it, but I know it isn't a nice scent. Do you want to wait over there? Naofumi. Yeah, Phiro. Phir nods as she stumbles towards the monster egg display. You know Phiro, that's where we first met you. Don't eat those, I warn her, as I continue to follow the slave dealer. What are we looking for? Rishia. We're going to get people in positions similar to yours. Naofumi. Fui. Rishia. Even though fallen, you're still a noble, aren't you? And before Itsuki saved you, you were in a similar situation, weren't you? Please read the situation. Naofumi. This country has an active slave trade. Nobles and other rich folk should be well aware of its existence. Why is Rishia so surprised? Is she unexpectedly quite dense? This is a. I never noticed. Rishia. But they don't deal in human trade. Naofumi. I see, Rishia. We follow the slave dealer, and end up near the cages where I first saw Raphatalia. This is where my fate changed, Raphatalia. I am also reminiscing about that time. Though it wasn't that long ago, it feels like years have passed. Let me pick out some slaves that are within your budget. I'll even give you a slight discount. Slave. Dealer. How generous. Naofumi. I hear you are starting up quite an interesting town. It's quite exciting. Perhaps you will become my best customer after this. Slave dealer. Well. I just come to fulfill my needs. Naofumi. Though business may seem to be slow today, I have already earned a large profit from the hero of the shield's fame. Slave dealer. What do you mean by that? Naofumi. During negotiations, if I bring up your name, they expect their new slaves to turn out like your companions. Even if I overcharge, they seem to knowingly accept it. Slave dealer. Raphatalia did earn herself quite a bit of fame during the last battle. She outclassed the entire continental army in ability. If people learned this is the place that sold her, I guess business will improve greatly. Besides those, there is also another type of slave I wish to purchase. Naofumi. What may you be interested in? Slave dealer. In response to the slave dealer's question, I turn my focus to Raphatalia. I approach her head on and put my arm on her shoulder. What is it? Raphatalia. Raphatalia, is there anyone here from the village you used to live in? I don't care about the price, pick anybody you recognize. Naofumi. Raphatalia. Raphatalia widens her eyes in surprise. Are you really okay with that? Raphatalia. What are you saying at this point in time? Employing people who used to live in that land is the most efficient option for reconstruction. They might have to fight a bit, but our main objective for now is resettling the land. Naofumi. Raphatalia probably has the wish to go back to the village she used to live in, tucked in somewhere in her heart. It occurred to me when I visited the graveyard with Raphatalia. I need to work hard so that when I leave this world, Raphatalia will still have a place to call home. Even if I'm gone. Of course that isn't my only reason. Raphatalia's former village is on the sea, and if you walk a few hours from it, you can reach the mountains. As people used to live there, the ground is relatively level and ready for agriculture. It's the perfect area for testing various things. It's perfect for both farming and farming. Because of the wave, I won't be kicking anyone out of their homes either. Oh, slave dealer, can you ask around the store you got Raphatalia at? I'm willing to buy back slaves from nobles if I must. They'll probably be willing to part with them if you mention the hero of the shield. Naofumi. My popularity is rising in this country. There's no reason I shouldn't use that. You plan to motivate your slaves by giving them their previous homes, all while putting them to work? The thought process of the shield intrigues me. I understand. I'll ask around. Slave dealer. Now then, Raphatalia, do you see any familiar faces? Naofumi. Please give me a moment. Raphatalia. On a side note, that silk hat, he seems to jump on board any idea I suggest. I'm scared of his ulterior motives. I'll investigate his movements later. The slave dealer shows Raphatalia around the cages containing the slaves, and she carefully examines each individual one. Found one. Raphatalia. So there was one. Raphatalia is pointing her finger at a demi-human child. It's a man with dog-like features. His age seems to be around 10. He's a little larger than Raphatalia was when I first met her. You're Keel-kun, right? Raphatalia. Who are you? Why do you know my name? Keel. So he wasn't listening to our previous conversation. You forgot my face? I might have gotten a bit bigger, but I'm Raphatalia. Raphatalia. Keel. The boy named Keel looks quite surprised. That's a lie. The Raphatalia-chan I knew was smaller than me, and she isn't as beautiful as you. Though she was kinda cute, Keel. Keel says this as if talking about a deceased person. Then I'll prove to you I'm the real thing. 2 months before that incident happened, you were looking for a pretty shell to give father for his birthday, so you dived into the ocean. You almost drowned, so Satana jumped in to rescue you, and together, you, Raphatalia. Are you really? Raphatalia-chan. Keel. That's right, and after that, remember when you accidentally ate a poison mushroom you found in the field, messed up your stomach, and hid to avoid being scolded? You told me to keep it a secret. When I found you, you had even wet your paw. Raphatalia. Wait. Yes. I believe you. You're Raphatalia-chan. Keel. Memories from the past? How charming. But the contents seem to be quite embarrassing. Raphatalia-chan. Why did you become so big, so pretty? Keel. You know, I am currently the slave of the hero of the shield. Raphatalia. Keel. Naofumi-sama is quite a trustworthy person. And by his request, I am currently searching for the people who used to live in our village. Raphatalia. Do you mean me? Can I finally go back home? Keel. Yes, but you will be employed as Naofumi-sama's slave, and put to work. I guarantee he won't do anything evil, though. Do you want to come with us? Raphatalia. The child Keel fidgets and blinks a lot as he listens to Raphatalia's request. His face is slightly pale. Is the hero of the shield that man over there? Keel. Keel stares at me. What's with that attitude? That's right. He might have an evil look around his eyes, and he might have a habit of smiling cynically whenever something bad happens to the people he dislikes, but he's a good person. Raphatalia. Are you even trying to persuade him? Naofumi. She seems to be casually throwing in complaints against me. She's grown to be quite confident. But trying to persuade someone with those words is impossible. If it were me, those words would make me even more cautious. If I heard those words, I would think that Raphatalia had been brainwashed by a shady person. It hurts that her complaints are right on the mark. He's the hero that saved this country. Don't you know about him? Raphatalia. Now that you mention it, it has been getting noisy as of late. Will I really be able to go back to that village? Keel. Yet. Your mother and father won't be there, but if we work hard together, we can rebuild that village. Raphatalia. I understand. Keel. Keel nods and grabs Raphatalia's outstretched hand. I'll add him to your purchase, please continue to pick out slaves with that girl. Slave dealer. I'll need to prepare a few things in regards to that matter. Leave that to us. Naofumi. Yes. Raphatalia. Phew, I feel that it will be getting interesting around here. Slave dealer. Let's go, Rishia. Naofumi. How wonderful, yes. Rishia. Rishia follow closely with teary eyes. Does Rishia not do well with these sort of stories? She seems like she would be an avid reader. I believe Rishia is crying for joy at Keel and Raphatalia reuniting. Phiro suddenly runs over. Are you done yet? Phiro. Oh right. Phiro, there's a favor I would like to ask of you. Naofumi. What? Phiro. Please take Rishi and go level grind for a bit. Go hunt until you feel satisfied. Naofumi. Phew. Rishia. Phiro's eyes sparkle and Rishia lets out a confused sound. What is so surprising? Did you forget about wanting to get stronger? I'm going have to train my newly attained slaves anyways, so this will be good practice. Also, I will be troubled if Rishia stays at level 1 for too long. Naofumi. But how am I supposed to train with Phiro-san? Rishia. Don't worry, you just have to ride Phiro and make sure you don't fall off. You'll still gain EXP. Phiro's carriage is a rough vehicle to ride, you may need to train yourself. Raphatalia went down this road. Herself. This is killing two birds in one stone. It's a leveling strategy often used in online games. It's also used in various console RPGs. A high-level character fights with minimal support from a low-level one. If I leave it to Pyro, things should turn out just fine. Then, Pyro will be off. Pyro. Phui. Rixia. Pyro turns into her monster form, grabs Rixia and throws her on her back. She then proceeds to sprint out of the tent. Rixia. Rixia's scream of terror fades into the distance. Now then, Naofumi. I put on a cloak and leave the tent. There are some other places I need to stop too. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 132, Acquaintances. I don a cloak and begin to walk around the town. As expected, the damages are quite severe. The effects of the spirit turtle are still clearly visible. There is also clear signs of damage caused by the onslaught of familiars. As I'm walking, I arrive at a familiar store. Good, this building is still standing. There aren't really any visible damages. The building seems to be conducting business as usual. I walk into the store. The old man's store. Welcome. Old man. I'm happy you're safe. Naofumi. That voice, boy, is that you? I take off the hood of the cloak and greet the old man. Luckily, he doesn't have any visible injuries. Why are you wearing such a suspicious cloak? Old man. I don't want to stand out. Naofumi. Well, you have become quite famous, lad. Old man. Yep, that's my main problem right now. I'm not like Itsuki. When people call out my name in praise, it sends shivers down my spine. I don't think popularity is bad in general, but having the people of this country praise me doesn't make me feel good at all. And right now, I have too many things that I have to do. I can't waste my time dealing with these people. Well, I guess having people flock around you would get annoying after a while. Old man. By the look of it, this store hasn't really been affected. Naofumi. Pretty much. I was able to drive off all the monsters that came this way. Old man. Good job on that. I saw it. You stood on that monster's neck and suddenly started bleeding, but then a large thing came out of the ground and killed it. Old man. You saw that? Naofumi. I guess it is quite a feat to be able to focus on that while being swarmed by monsters. I wonder just how strong the old man is. I don't really feel like finding out either. I was on the battlefield, so I was able to witness it, your power. Old man. I see. Old man, what level are you? Naofumi. I have long since given up on becoming an adventurer. Please don't pry any further. Old man. My question was denied. Really, what level is he? He's at least done class up once, and he is on a level where he can fight on par with the spirit turtle's familiars. At least 70, probably. You've been through a lot since you first came here. When I first saw you, I couldn't believe you would be able to change the world. Old man. I was of the same opinion. Naofumi. I casually converse with this old man. He really has done a lot for me. The old man looks around me intently. Is it just you, today? Old man. Yeah, Naofumi. What happened? Old man. Raphatalia is currently working on a different job, and Rixia has gone hunting with Pyro. Naofumi. What about you, boy? Old man. The city is quite damaged, so the castle has put all of its manpower into helping rebuild. Because of that, royal weapon production has been ordered to cease. Naofumi. I guess they've got no choice, old man. Yep. Naofumi. I can't ask him to make me anything right now. For now, I guess I should get his advice. I'll probably need something later. I'll have to think about it. How's the store going? Naofumi. A calamity of this scale just happened. Everyone is rushing out to buy weapons. Old man. So business is booming. Naofumi. Yeah, I've sold so much that my storeroom is almost completely empty. Old man. Isn't that just peachy? Naofumi. Yeah, but for people without any passion for weapons to just go out and buy them in a panic. It feels a little sad. Old man. There's no helping it. The town was almost destroyed. It's not surprising that people with no skill are rushing to obtain armaments. It's probably like that. In preparation for the apocalypse, people are frantically looking for weapons and armor to increase their chances of survival. From what I've seen, there's been no looting yet. They seem to be heading in a positive direction. Is that all you needed today, old man? Oh, about that, Naofumi. I'm debating whether or not to ask him about arming the new slaves. The Queen has already approved my proposal, so I can probably get some second-hand equipment from the army, but getting any more than that will be logistically difficult in this time of crisis. These items are quite important. I don't want to risk it on second-hand goods. There's also a problem of upgrades and maintenance. Well, first I should tell the old man the situation. I received some land from the Queen. I'm planning to start a business there. Naofumi. The old man will be really helpful in procuring equipment, and various other tasks. I'll try recruiting him. So what relation does that have to me, old man? I've come to scout you. Naofumi. When starting up a new town, iron goods are essential. Plus, I'm already certain of his skill. I can place my hopes on his equipment. I had kinda figured it out. But I have this store. Old man. I know. I won't force you or anything. Perhaps I may send someone to you to ask to be your disciple. Naofumi. Ah, so it's like that. I got it, boy. Though my skills aren't that great, I'll try to train anyone you send me. Old man. Okay, I've got some approval. If there's a skilled slave, maybe I can send him to learn under the old man. After that, I just have to buy the equipment. I don't plan to make the old man teach for free, either. Don't be so modest. I'm confident in your skill. Naofumi. Ha, I'm working my hardest to meet your expectations. Old man. Next is. Oh right, do you have any information about the other vendors? Naofumi. Ah, right. The magic shop collapsed, didn't it? Old man. So that big magic shop collapsed. It was on the castle town's main street. It was also on the side of town the turtle attacked from. Were the employees okay? Naofumi. Yeah, the owner escaped without a scratch. The problem is that the store is now gone. She's currently taking refuge in Riot Village. Old man. I see, Naofumi. The medicine shop has gotten quite busy. Old man. There were quite a few injured in the disaster, so that business is thriving as well. Naofumi. Something like that. But the clothing stores seem to be losing business. Old man. Famu. So no one I knew dies. I don't have to go around the whole town to investigate. Well, I'm starting a business, so please give my regards to the other vendors. The place is Naofumi. I tell the old man about my land. I also talk about the village that it will be centered around. Right now, the hero of the shield is popular. There may be some people willing to jump on the bandwagon. It would be best if I could have some people that I trust among them. The village isn't exceptionally far from the castle town anyways. Got it, got it. Everyone was worried about you anyways, my boy. Some people may be willing to go with you. Old man. I have a debt to those people, so I'll give them some preferential treatment. Old man, if you ever feel like moving, you can come anytime. Naofumi. Got it, old man. And with that, the old man casually avoided the topic. However, his gaze seems to be serious. You have something else to ask, don't you? Old man. You can tell. Naofumi. Boy, every time you come here, you come with a mountain of requests. Old man. I see, Naofumi. I don't really want to show it. I take off the cloak and show him my armor. The old man gives a look of understanding. It was an intense battle. It held up well. Naofumi. The barbarian armor is in a terrible shape. Its defense has also dropped considerably. Its autonomous repair function did not activate at all. I wondered if it was beyond repair, so I took it to the old man. The core piece is not very damaged, but everything else is gone case. Old man. Can you fix it? Naofumi. It's not like it can't be repaired, but that depends on the materials. It will also cost a bit. Old man. Is that so? Naofumi. Will you put in a request? I got some rare materials from that monster for cheap. Old man. They have more of those parts than they can handle. It seems that a large quantity of materials were set aside for me, but still the turtle has way too many materials for the town to get rid of all of them. I am overstocked on those materials. If you pay a little money, I can make a lot of stuff for you. Old man. Is that alright with you? Naofumi. Don't worry, if it's a request from you, I'll definitely carry it out. I also want to experiment with unknown materials. Old man. Naofumi. This man's generosity towards me, it seems to be endless. His skill level is also on a level I can respect. To be honest, I really want him to come work in my village. Right now I am just starting out. Once I've finished setting up the village, I'll invite him again. Well, in a matter of priorities, I guess the armor comes first. After that comes making a shield. You won't necessarily lose any money on that one. Old man. Yeah, worse comes to worst, I can just copy it, and resell the original. Naofumi. So you do get it. Well, please leave your armor here. Old man. Understood. Naofumi. I take off my Rekavan armor and hand it over to the old man. As for the core piece, I think you should hold onto it. Old man. Is that alright? Naofumi. I'll embed the core in later. You can pay for it at that point in time. Old man. Thanks. Naofumi. Boy, what do you plan to do while waiting for your armor? Old man. I think I'll borrow a second-hand one from the castle. Or maybe I'll wear the costume. Naofumi. That costume does have some useful features attached. If only the appearance could be changed. Rishia seems to be forming a strange affinity for it, but that's not my problem. Anyways, I'll leave it to you. Naofumi. Got it. Old man. My negotiations with the old man are complete. I put the cloak back on and leave the store. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 133, E-Float. Now then. I put in a few requests with the old man. I could go meet up with Raphatalia and the others, or I could go talk to the queen. I have some questions about her plan from here on out. I might be able to get some second-hand equipment as well. I return to the castle, and ask for the queen's location. It seems that after the meeting ended, she went to her office to do paperwork. Queen. Naofumi. Iwadani? What is troubling you now? Queen. Can you spare us some equipment? Naofumi. Sure, there's no issues with me doing that. However, much of the equipment we currently have on stock has been heavily damaged during the previous battle. Queen. I know, but right now I don't need anything high class. If you're not using it, can you hand it over? Naofumi. It's for managing your new land, right? Queen. Correct. Naofumi. Oh, right. Iwadani, I have a favor I would like to ask of you. Queen. The queen's tone makes it sound like it is quite a big deal. What is it? Naofumi. I have finished speaking with the other countries, it's about managing the heroes for the next waves. Queen. Famo. Though we still don't know the meaning behind the blue hourglass, the red hourglass may begin to move again soon. The red one only had 3 days left on it. It will be difficult to prepare if it suddenly starts moving again. The other 3 heroes are still missing, so there is a large problem regarding manpower. Many countries want to focus on Iwadani as a main fighting force. There are also plenty of countries that want to deny entry to the other heroes. Queen. Of course, after that, Naofumi. The information has been hidden from the general public, but the leaders won't want to let those who caused this calamity to enter their countries. Even countries unrelated to the incident wouldn't want the same thing to happen to them. Of course, that only applies if they are still alive. If they are found, can I leave it to you to arrest them? Queen. You remember that my stats won't recover for another 3 months, right? Naofumi. I know I may be asking the impossible. I do think that they will return to this country, if they do. Return, though, Queen. Why is that? Naofumi. Because of spreading rumors, most of the countries besides this one have decided to place restrictions on the movements of the heroes. Queen. Doesn't that mean you can monopolize the heroes? Naofumi. What a fearsome woman. Somehow got to gain exclusive access to a massive fighting force. The belief is spreading that the heroes other than the shield were false heroes, Queen. Well, I can understand their train of thought. They could have just obtained weapons that change shape. It seems that in the past, production of such items was possible. The belief is spreading that the summoned heroes other than Iwatani were fakes, and that they should instead depend on the strengths of the 7-star heroes. Queen. What sort of belief is that? The mindset of people overcome by fear scares me. Though I don't know what sort of people the 7-star heroes are in the first place. The contributing factor to this belief was a rumor that began circulating during the last wave. Queen. Ah, the fact that all the heroes other than me lost. Naofumi. Yes, there were many people who witnessed that battle, so it was impossible to stop the spread of such a rumor. The rumor had almost died down, but then they had to go off to another country and cause this disaster, Queen. Fake heroes. It's the same thing that happened to me before. I have to be careful not to get any bad rumors spread about me. There is also the question of their strength. They are definitely strong, but they are not on a level that is impossible to attain by a normal person, Queen. I don't really know exactly how strong those 3 are, so I can't really say anything in regards to that. But they are probably still sticking to their own systems of enhancement instead of trying the others. But it will be troublesome if no country accepts charge of them. So I have decided to make this country the only one to accept them. Queen. Shadow should have told them about how to unlock the other systems, but they stubbornly stuck to the belief that this was the world of the game they knew. Looking back, their way of doing things was quite half-assed. If they had only attempted to trust the others, they may have been able to get 3 times the enhancements as before. Because I was oblivious, I tried out all of the systems and got my weapons to this level. They're just like Raphatalia and Pyro when they had reached their level 40 cap before classing up. Though their level rose beyond 80, that doesn't mean they were getting particularly stronger. Because I properly strengthened my equipment, I can keep up with Raphatalia and Pyro, but I'm not sure about the others. Oh yeah, what about bitch? Naofumi. There's still a faint response from her. If I want to, I can still activate her slave crest. Queen. I wouldn't really care if she died, though, Naofumi. Bitch has some uses while alive, so it would be troublesome if she died. And she still owes me some money. Queen. Uses. Naofumi. Well, her punishment helps entertain Iwatani, plus if she never repents, there is still something we can have her do, Queen. Naofumi. What will you make her do? I think I will feel motivated to find her if you tell me. Do you want to know what I plan to do to her? Queen. No, I feel it will be more fun to find out when the time comes. Naofumi. If it's something cruel, I think it is better to hear it whilst in front of her. It will give off a surprise party sort of feeling. Alright, have you already gathered the necessary materials from the turtle? Naofumi. Yes. I was just about to call you to collect them. They are lying around the training grounds in front of the warehouse. You may do as you wish with them. Queen. Got it. Naofumi. I part with the queen, and look around the front of the warehouse as instructed, and begin to feed the large mountain of spirit turtle and spirit turtle familiar materials to the shield. As I was doing it, I noticed a giant eyeball, and a chunk of a brain matter inside of the mountain. Did they go as far as to take apart the head and bring it all the way here? This head is probably the one that Raphatalia and Pyro were able to cut off during the recon battle. There were also things that looked like parts of the heart, and a moss-like substance. There's even some lumber. If I want to feed the shield all of this, I'll have to stay up all night. I'll leave some meaty bits to cook later. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Carapace Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Skin Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Flesh Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Bone Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Blood Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Bodily Fluid Shield, TL, degree. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Leukocyte Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Muscle Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Heart Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Myocardium Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Capillary Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Heart Eye Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Iris Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Sacred Tree Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Familiar, Bat Form, Shield. You have unlocked the Spirit Turtle Familiar, Yeti Form, Shield. Etc. TL, quite a pain to translate anatomy terms. I unlock a ridiculous amount of shields from the Spirit Turtle series. All of them have really high base defense. The one with the highest defense is the Spirit Turtle Carapace Shield. Its base is many levels above the Chimera Viper. I guess enhancing this weapon will be fun. Now then, to look at its stats. It seems that a skill can be unlocked by awakening it. Spirit Turtle Carapace Shield 0/40C. Ability bonus. Equipment bonus. Skill, E-Float Shield. Gravity Field. Sea Soul Recovery. Magical Barrier, Large. Weapon Proficiency 0. E-Float Shield. Is that short for Erstier? What sort of skill is that? I should probably test it. E-Float Shield. The word on appear in my field of vision. In the air, a shield manifests. Is it something like Air Strike Shield? I think this as I try to approach the floating shield. As I walk forward, the shield moves as well to match my movement. Is it a wall that moves with me as the base? It's like a combination of Air Strike Shield and Meteor Shield. I wait for the skill to wear off. It's not disappearing. Its effective time is quite long. I don't have time to wait for it to vanish. I'll figure out its effect time later. Sea Soul Recovery is probably the ability that the Spirit Turtle had. The ability to steal and recover SP as you attack. Gravity Field is an ability that seems to be common in the Spirit Turtle series. I believe it will force objects to be drawn to the ground, but as I am the only person here, I can't really test it. As I am deep in thought, the E-Float Shield begins to spin in the air in front of me. What is this? It's getting in the way. Go away. And with that thought, it does indeed move away. So it can move to whatever location I command it to move to. This might be quite useful. Its effective range is 1 meter from me. The on-off icon that appears makes me think it is probably a semi-passive skill. My SP is slowly decreasing over time. I think I will be able to keep it up for quite a while. As expected of something made of Spirit Turtle materials. Change shield. Neofumi. I change my equipped shield. And instead of disappearing, the floating shield changes to match my new shield. This could have quite a few uses. The only flaw is that I can only bring out one at a time. This shield may become part of my main repertoire. But that depends on the quality of the shield the old man makes for me. The other shields are. There are some with nothing but high base stats, and others with plenty of stat increasing effects. I spot an abnormal shield within the list. Spirit Turtle Heart Shield 0/45C. Ability bonus. Equipment bonus. HP recovery increase, small. C Magic Snatch. C Gravity Shot. Tenacity enhancement, TL, literally life force up. Weapon proficiency 0. C Magic Snatch. It probably lets me steal magic power. C Gravity Shot seems to be an offensive ability. TL, though he may be stating the obvious, most of the skill names are in English while his explanation is in Japanese. Tenacity enhancement? If this were a game, it would increase my endurance. There are still plenty of shields to examine. I'll look through them later. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 134, Balloon Shield. Neofumi-sama. As I am testing out my new shields, Raphatalia comes running over. She was gone for quite a while. Did she finish gathering her fellow villagers? I went to many different stores with the slave dealer, and managed to gather quite a few people. Raphatalia. I see. Okay, I'll go check it out. Do you think I have enough funds? Naofumi. Yes, I was sent over to ask what you wanted to do with the remaining money. Raphatalia. I see. I'll head over to the slave dealer's place then. Naofumi. Yes, let us go. Where are Phiro and Rishia? Raphatalia. I sent them out to hunt. I think they will be out for a while. Naofumi. I don't know how far Phiro went. I don't think she will go to a place where even she will have trouble. Her feral instincts are quite sharp. Ah, but first I have to say something to the queen. Naofumi. It will probably be best to prepare to depart tonight. Time is of the essence. I need to see just how much I can train these people. Have you finished preparing? Queen. The queen appears behind me. It seems she went out for a walk. I fed most of the materials to the shield, so the mountain has pretty much disappeared. The queen must be pretty busy right now. It's not strange for her to look for a change of pace. For the most part. Please send the rest of the materials to my village. I plan to make the meat into a meal sometime in the near future. Naofumi. With the new slaves I will be getting, the need for food has risen exponentially. It's not that I can't procure food on my own, but there's a lot I need to do right now. First I need to work on re-establishing the village. Then I shall dispatch a platoon of soldiers to assist in your work. Please use them as you will. Queen. Ah, thanks. I plan to head to the area now to prepare. Naofumi. If you need anything, please feel free to ask. We will do our best to meet your needs. Queen. I got it. The first things I'll need to do is to collect construction materials and put up theft countermeasures. I plan to depart tonight, so please prepare the men by then. Naofumi. If a hero were to load a carriage with a large load of slaves it would seem quite shady. That's why leaving in the night is probably best. I thought Phiro's eyes would be like those of a bird, but she can see at night just fine. Traveling at night is no problem. I understand. Queen. After hearing the queen's response, I thank her and leave the castle. I head for the slave traders' tent. Hero of the shield, I have gathered the slaves at your request. Slave dealer. Yeah, I heard from Raphatalia. Naofumi. When I enter the tent, I see some demi-human children, 8 in total, staring at me from inside cages. All of them are watching my every action with fear. Some of them are even shaking. I thought there would be adults here as well, Naofumi. In the wave, most of the adults perished. We don't know the fate of those that survived. Raphatalia. Even if they survived, Raphatalia was unable to discover their locations. Or perhaps she found that they had died afterwards. If they had fled during the first wave, there is a possibility that they escaped to Siltwelt or something like that. Finding them will probably be impossible. Anyways, I don't plan to dig very deep into this. Now then, I'm sure you have already heard it from Raphatalia, but I will declare it again here. Naofumi. It's probably best for me to act strict here. At the start, Raphatalia was a coward and Phiro grew to be selfish. To avoid these problems down the road, I should treat them with discipline. From now on, you all are my slaves. You will travel to your former village and rebuild it, while training to get stronger. Naofumi. If I show kindness here, I will be looked down upon. I hate lazy people the most. If anyone begins to slack off, I will sell them without hesitation. You got that? Naofumi. As I say this, I see the slave merchant issuing commands to his subordinates. One strikes an instrument reminiscent of a gong. Who told him to do that? Look at them, they look afraid. No, that's probably my fault. Hi dash. Child. R. Raphatalia-chan, is this really the guy? Child. Mama dash. Child. My ears hurt. But what I'm running isn't a charity. I must raise a force to combat the wave. Now then, I will start the slave contract. Naofumi. As I raise my hand, the slave dealer lets out a smile. He hands over some slave contract ink. I put a drop of my blood into the ink. And the process of putting the slave crest on the children started. Yes, what do you plan to do with the rest of the money? Slave dealer. I plan to continue peddling, so if you have a monster I can use for transportation, it will help. Naofumi. The slave dealer's eyes are still sparkling. Please stop it with that look. Then, shall I contribute a filo real to your cause? Slave dealer. No, I have my hands full with a filo real as it is. Please offer a different species. Naofumi. Are you not good with filo reals? Slave dealer. I would prefer a monster that won't lose to Firo in skill. One that may be able to help plow the fields. Naofumi. While wandering town, I didn't see only filo reals and horses. I've also seen animals that looked like cows and caterpillars hooked up to carts. And if I raise another filo real? My hands are full with Firo. Master, I'm hungry, Naofumi's imagination. The thought of more of those things is enough to make my face pale. I only want to raise them one at a time. Among magic beasts, filo reals need to be raised with quite a bit of discipline apparently. They might add a good amount to our fighting power, but for now, we are still just reconstructing. I don't think I can raise a monster with an appetite of that level. I still have a lot of spirit turtle meat, but I don't plan to waste it all at once. I should first start with something I can actually handle. I see. Then I shall find a beast for you. Slave dealer. I'll leave it to you, Naofumi. Do you want to purchase one from an egg? Or would you rather have a fully grown one? Raising them from eggs makes them more compliant later on in life. Slave dealer. I guess an egg is fine for now. Naofumi. Understood. Yes. Slave dealer. The slave dealer walks towards the part of the tent used for monster sales. I look through the restrictions I can put on the 8 new slaves. It seems I can also put a punishment for revealing classified information. I'll decide on their specific tasks later. It seems that the slave registration process has ended. As I look outside, I see the sun has already set. We can leave after Firo and Rishia arrive. After a while, Firo comes running in. There is no one on her back. Did she fall off? Firo skids to a halt in front of me. I'm home. Firo. What happened to Rishia? Naofumi. Firo. Please let me down, Rishia. It seems that Rishia hasn't fallen off. She is grasping onto some of Firo's feathers on her rear as if her life depended on it. It seems that she almost fell off when Firo was going at a high speed. Firo sits down, and Rishia falls off of her quite abruptly. Rishia. Rishia is making sounds quite unbefitting of a noble. Please hold for technical difficulties. Yes, it really says that. Now then, to check the results. Naofumi. These two have been out since just before noon. The sun has already set, so. Rishia's level has risen by 20. The results aren't bad. Her stats are even higher than they were before the reset. It seems that the growth correction effect is working properly. I can see stars. Itsuki-sama. Is that you in the afterlife? Rishia. That's an illusion. Firo, please snap her back to reality. Naofumi. Got it, Firo. Firo lightly slaps Rishia's cheek. Is what it looked like, but Rishia is sent flying. Is she alright? Wah. Where am I? Rishia. Oh, so you were okay. Naofumi. I thought I was dead. Rishia. Yeah, but you gained 20 levels to show for the experience. Your stats are higher than ever before. Aren't they? Naofumi. Rishia. Rishia checks her own status. Wow, amazing. Rishia. For her to be this amazed at her own stats. Now then. Rishia, I have a job I want to give you. Naofumi. What is it? Rishia. I want you, Raphatalia and Firo to help me manage the new slaves and monsters I have acquired. Naofumi. I see, Rishia. Raphatalia and Firo are already strong, I want you to act like their elder and train with them. Naofumi. There's no point in just leveling up. Rishia, who leveled up down a wrong path before, is a good example of this. I plan to have Raphatalia and Firo assist them, but I don't just want to build a party with a high level. Gaining combat experience is also important in itself. So for a while, I'll take Raphatalia and Phiro off the front lines. This way, these people will be able to gain a strength that can't be measured in level. You're going to get stronger, right? Good luck. Naofumi. But that was for Itsuki-sama, and he, Rishia. He's not the type of person to die so easily, is he? When you meet up again, don't you want to make him tell you that he needs your power? Naofumi. I think it's fine if he is dead, but I'm saying this in order to further Rishia's growth. I got it. I'll do my best. Rishia. Rishia seems to have gained motivation. She stands up. Good. Her heart has become stronger than before. All that she needs now is diligence. Probably. I'll wait expectantly. Naofumi. Yes. Rishia. Master, what do you want Phiro to do next? Phiro. Please get the carriage. We'll be carrying a lot, so also bring some carts. There should be a lot in front of the warehouse. Naofumi. Yes. I found this for you. Phiro. And with that, Phiro begins to pull out the corpses of various monsters. I've seen all of these before. Whatever, I'll just feed them to the shield anyways. You've unlocked the balloon shield. You've unlocked the red balloon shield. You've unlocked the orange balloon shield. You've unlocked the yellow balloon shield. What? The monster I absorbed was a normal balloon. And I unlocked all of the other balloon shields with it. For argument's sake, I look through the new shields. All of them only affect stats. But the balloon shield is the only one with a strange skill. Balloon shield 0/5C. Ability bonus. Equipment bonus. Monster book. Its stats are terrible. Even worse than my initial small shield. But what does it mean by monster book? I test it. With a beep, a window appears in my field of vision. It displays all of the monsters I have fed the shield up until now. It even says where I found them. It also seems to have the ability to lead me to a specific species of monster if I wish to encounter it. How convenient. It records the data of any monster I absorb. However, it doesn't seem to display the number of monster species of this world. In high spirits, Phiro went and got the carriage I had parked at the castle. To be honest, if it weren't for Phiro, the voyage would probably take a few days. Hero of the shield, as you have requested, I have prepared you some eggs. Yes. Slave dealer. The slave dealer appears carrying a number of eggs. I'm grateful. Naofumi. Do you know when your next visit will be? Slave dealer. Well, I still have money left over, so I may come again soon to buy more slaves. Naofumi. Well then, I will wait expectantly for that time. If I find one of the slaves you were looking for, should I contact you? Slave dealer. Yes, please do. Naofumi. Understood. Slave dealer. Then I guess I should be off. Naofumi. I hear the sound of Phiro pulling the carriage getting closer. But before that, Naofumi. I turn around and face the slave dealer, who is rubbing his hands together. I'll make dinner. Naofumi. I use the spirit turtle meat that Phiro brought back with her, and begin cooking in the tent. It's a basic hot pot consisting of meat and soup. The turtle has a bit of a unique taste, but it shouldn't be a problem. Wah! This is delish. Child. What is this? It's better than what Mom used to make. Child. Yeah. Why is that? Child. Naofumi-sama is a very skilled chef, you know. Raphatalia. Yeah. Phiro loves to eat master's cooking. Phiro. The slaves seem to be getting closer over the delicious meal. This is just perfect. To eat a meal personally cooked by a hero. I might fall for you. Slave dealer. The slave dealer also managed to obtain some of the food in the heat of the moment. If I worry about it, I lose. I'm cooking in his store, anyways. If you find more of the villagers, you might get to eat it again. Work hard. Naofumi. But the slave merchant seems lost in his meal. I'm not sure if he heard me. It's like a welcoming party. Things will get busy from here on out. I need to make sure they get proper nourishment or they won't hold up. And like that, after the meal the slaves boarded the carriage and we leave the castle town in the darkness of the night. Towards our new home. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 135, Artificial Feeding. I let Phiro pull the carriage and we march in the middle of the night. We arrived at the outskirts of Raphtalia's village in the morning. Master, we have arrived. Phiro. Good. Naofumi. While I was sleeping, Keel tried to play a prank on me and got reprimanded harshly by Raphthalia. Of course, with the exception of Raphthalia and Rishia, the slaves got harsh restriction and the slave mark got set to activate immediately if they tried to attack me. Also, because of what bitch did before, now I immediately awake when something happened. On the first day we went to work with the slaves to demolish the building wreckages. This house is my important home. Keel. Keel shouted in rejection. It's good to treasure your house, but the roof has fallen, the walls are destroyed. It's a pity, but accept that there are houses that can be repaired and those that can't. Naofumi. I searched for stuff that either have monetary value or can still be used, but they are either robbed or there's simply none. There are still some items remains, but they are already too rusted to be used. The water well seems salvageable. The field seems need some considerable maintenance. I understand the feeling of not wanting to discard your memories, but from the standpoint of reconstruction, the stuff that are going to get in the way need to be discarded. Naofumi. But Keel. Keel-kun. Stop saying selfish things. Raphthalia. Raphthalia warned him. Well, it's not necessarily need to stop him. Even so. These are the house that you had lived in. Naofumi. Yes. Keel. Then, the new house that will be built here will be yours. Naofumi. Keel. The brat called Keel looked at me with puzzled expression. Understand the condition that you will become the one who will manage the communal house. You will become responsible for the place where the others are gathering. Naofumi. Yuan. Keel. Keel nodded to my ambiguous words. That's why now. Phiro. Naofumi. Yes. Phiro. The moment Keel showed an opening, Phiro charges at the deserted house and promptly did flying kick at the fulcrum of the house and destroyed it. Keel, TL, yes, scream louder. Leaving the dumbfounded Keel, I went to the next task. Before noon the materials for building houses and the castle's soldiers that the queen prepared arrived. Stones, lumbers, and is it plasters? Hero of the Shield Sama objective is to reconstruct this place. Soldier. The soldier seems to have heard the story from the queen. At the very least I want the roof to be constructed before the day end. I'm aware of this unreasonable request, but I'm counting on you. Naofumi. We might be soldiers, but we do have some knowledge about construction. So please leave it to us. Soldier. Please do. Naofumi. Construction end. Conscription, but do they have any relations? TLN, it seems the queen picked the soldiers that know how to construct stuff, probably engineer corps or something. And then I realized it was about to become noon. For the time being we will left the building to the soldiers, Raphthalia, Phiro, and then Rishia. Naofumi. Yes. Raphthalia. What? Phiro. What is it? Rishia. Those three replied to my call. After this I will start making lunch. After you finished your meal you three along with the slaves will go out and begin demon extermination. Naofumi. Understood. Raphthalia. Yet. Phiro. I'll do my best. Rishia. I'll leave the squad composition to you. Having too much people will be detrimental on the EXP that will be obtained. Okay. Naofumi. Just from how they used their words you can guess who spoke. I haven't attempted to do an actual measurement, just how much will the amount decreased. More like, how does the distribution system works? Or they sharing it, I have no idea at all. Is there anyone who knew the details? Naofumi. Rishia. Rishia raised her hand apologetically. What? Naofumi. The people who are inside the party receive the same amount of EXP. The maximum limit for that is 6 people. Any more than that will cause it to decrease. Rishia. Oh, so that's why you were left out. Though if I said that she would probably cry fui, so it's better to stay silent. It's annoying. In an expedition with a large amount of people there doesn't seem to be a problem in dividing the group. That means that it is sufficient to organize 6 people in one team. In the case that multiple team fighting against one demon it's better to separate into different areas. I've understand. Yes. Then we will be splitting up. Leave it to me. I gave authority to Raphtalia to make a party. At the present the slaves numbered 8, that's why Rishia led 2 person, Raphtalia and Phiro led 3 person. Then I'll start cooking lunch, so lend me a hand. Naofumi. Yes. Then the 3 people begin to help as much as they can. Raphtalia-chan will be helping out. Keel, who just recovered from his absent-minded state, began to stare at me when I am in the middle of making preparations for cooking while asking Raphtalia. He recovered pretty quickly. Is it because he is still a child? Raphtalia-chan is bad at housework. Naofumi. Raphtalia. With a troubled look Raphtalia sent me a glance. What? What kind of stuff do you expect me to? She seems want to show her friend his good side. Raphtalia timidly began to open her mouth. Should I help? Should I just randomly grill some meat or make some soup? I would prefer it if it were a dish that I could just leave over a fire for a while. The meal that I made tastes good, so I've been the one who did the cooking. I've already used to it. Lately everyone has been leaving the cooking to me. It's enough if you just help me clean up. Naofumi. I began to cut the ingredients to chunks. The meat was large, so it was kind of hard to cut with a cooking knife. With that said, when Raphtalia was the one who cooked the food, they didn't taste good and Phiro just said to leave all the cooking to me. I ignored their complaints and began cooking. Food is coming out of the shield. Phiro. Phiro stared at my shield enviously with great excitement. Ah, it was made with the shield's skill. Naofumi. It's awesome. Phiro. And the food that served is spaghetti-like food that is unique to this world. The name of the food seems to be Naporeta. To be honest, it sounded like the variety kind of pasta from my world. The shield seems to change the name of the item so it resembles the item from my world. It tastes somewhat normal. Phiro. Yeah, normal. Raphtalia. Seems like the food quality was affected. It tasted normal and it doesn't contain the subtle delicate tastes. It doesn't taste bad. But it doesn't taste good either. It's definitely normal. Master's cooking is way better. Phiro. That's true. Even when it's cold, the food that Naofumi-sama made is still a delicious. Raphtalia. I got it. Naofumi. For some reason those two had a reproachful gaze that made me remember that I've been looked at with those kind of eyes. Come to think of it, these two no longer satisfied by food from restaurant and only pleased by the food that I cooked. I don't think it's possible to become a gourmet after just eating my food once. But they do become motivated for that. TLN, absolutely no idea how to make a sentence out of this, and at this point, it's a guesswork. Come to think of it, what if the situation where I am the cook got reversed? For the time being I better make a cooking team because at the moment there is no restaurant in the surrounding area. Here, the food is ready. After you finished eating go out already, Naofumi. I distribute the meat that I grilled above the crude iron plate and the soup that have been cooked. As I thought, this is absolutely delish. Yeah. It's really good. The slaves devour the food with smile on their face. I also treat the soldiers that made the house some food as well. This. I've never eaten such a delicious grilled meal before. Are you kidding? They made some of those at the castle and they didn't taste good at all. The shield's handmade correction is endless. Did you guys need any salt and spice on the meat beforehand? The slaves devoured the food that I cooked. Nevertheless, there is no need to eat that much. It'll be bad if I don't prepare enough food after they returned from leveling. Now then, you lot, each and every one of you will be carrying a weapon and then you will fight. Naofumi. And with that declaration the slaves become scared. Just like the old Raphtalia, the girl turned pale when received the blade tools. I hand the second-hand weapons that I got from the castle to them. Most of them are dagger. Designed for beginners. Prepare yourself that unless you did not fight you will feel pain on your chest. And if you do that, don't ever think of returning to your hometown. Naofumi. Ku. Keel. Keel tried to complain to me on behalf of the others. But Raphtalia interrupt him and prevent him to say anything. I don't exactly need you people for anything. Only for territory development. But, because Raphtalia has been obediently following my orders, you guys will become here present. So don't make a misunderstanding or anything. Naofumi. The slaves glared at me provokingly. I've used to playing the role of the bad guy in this world. Besides, I'm not doing this for charity or anything. There is no need to anxiously worry about the future since I'm planning to return to my own world anyway. I need to prepare a place for Raphtalia so she can spend her time peacefully. Now then. Phiro, I want you to pick all the monsters that you defeat into the wagon. There are a lot of use for them. Naofumi. Yees. Phiro. Mainly as food. Later, just like what Ren did, I should absorb those stuff into the shield. TLN, probably as item. Instead of shield unlock. Right now there are a lot of meaning that there are still to do. Come on, off you go then. See ya. Naofumi. I point at Phiro's carriage and ordered them. The slaves reluctantly ride the carriage. Phiro started to pull the carriage and went to hunt. Mind the speed. Naofumi. Yes. Phiro. The carriage made go-to sound as Phiro pulled them. I'll leave the house construction to you then. Naofumi. You understood. Soldier. I asked the soldiers to begin construction, set the shield to start compounding, and next is to start cooking. It's only a little bit more until the demon egg hatched. Before the spirit turtle meat ran out, I need to find a way to supply food. Ed, I feel this is more like an expression rather than a meaningful word. The slaves that went together with Raphtalia returned back at evening. Everyone is exhausted. The demon that got defeated is loaded onto the chained carts. Right now we need food. Immediately, they did good. But right now, there is something that is more awful. Guuu. Guuu. Kurururururu. Gojayurururururu. The sound sounded like roar. I wonder what would happen when they suddenly increased in level at an environment where food is scarce? I'm slightly curious. Perhaps they won't die, but they'll definitely starving. I think that while looking at Raphtalia, the body which is undergoing rapid growth want nourishment, thus they became hungry. You guys finally returned. Did you guys fight properly? Naofumi. Everyone did their best. Raphtalia. Raphtalia answered with a smile. I saw the slaves' faces and their expression are difficult. I didn't ask for a Sparta kind of thing, but they seem to be unsatisfied. Phew. So tired, Rishia. Oh, Rishia, how was your condition? Naofumi. It feels easier to move than before. Rishia. Certainly her status is higher than before the level reset. With this battle should become a little more easier. Rishia-nichan. Why are you wearing the plushie? Slave. That is because Rishia is a plushie mania. Naofumi. Phew. Rishia. Rishia tried to deny by shaking head, but there is no mistake about that. It's really that after all. Keel. Keel finally consented about the management. He hates me so he can't trust me. If you work it'll be good. It's dinner now. Naofumi. I put the spirit turtle stew and the steak that I have prepared beforehand on the table. I do this because I've been expecting it. I made a lot of them, but they'll definitely disappear immediately. Wah. The slaves began to eat excitedly. Yoshi. Master, Phiro's share. Phiro. You have it. Naofumi. I take out Phiro's part. They are about 1.5 times of the slave's part. Only this much? I want to eat more. Phiro. If you want more, go hunt it yourself. Naofumi. Buu, Phiro. Phiro sulks. Sorry, but I've quite a large amount. I can't serve only to just one person. Thank you for the meal. What? When I was in the middle of chatting with Phiro, they already eat everything. For the time being they are satisfied. Alright kids, go to bed immediately for tomorrow's preparation. Naofumi. Yes. I crammed the slaves into the house that the soldiers from the castle repaired for half a day, and the rest of us went into the house to sleep. The house's windows are still broken, it can be used to defend from the rain but the wind is still blowing in. I wonder what I should do for tomorrow food. I'll sleep at the place where everyone is. Raphtalia. Got it, I'm counting on you to make them used to it even if it's just for a little bit. Naofumi. Yes. Raphtalia. Raphtalia leave in order to sleep with her old friend. Phiro was already half asleep. I can't remember what the sound effect meant. Rishia id reading a book that she took out of nowhere. She is a hard-working person. I began compounding for the preparation of my next plan. While at it I went and checked the level of all slaves. It seems the average of the level that they raised is 15. All of their status rose as well. Judging from Raphtalia's growth pattern, I want to raise the level of them even for those that are unsuitable to combat to at least 30. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 136, Midnight Snack. And a while after that, I hear a loud knock on my room's door. Child. Raphtalia has come, along with the other female slaves. What's wrong? Naofumi. Well, child. Raphtalia ignores my words, and makes a face as if she is asking for a favor. Is she asking me to make an inference based on the situation? That's impossible for me. Did she wet the bed? Naofumi. You're mistaken. Please tell Naofumi-sama properly. Raphtalia. Well, child. Goo. The other female slaves are looking at the floor with an embarrassed expression. I got it. Most of the kids will probably ask the same thing, right? Please gather everyone and wait. Here. Naofumi. Thank you. Raphtalia. I head to the kitchen outside, and begin preparations for cooking. Really, these kids get hungry really fast. I look through the monsters gathered while hunting, and arbitrarily stick some on skewers. It's a pain to deal with the smaller monsters, so I just pan-fry them whole. With all this cooking, my free time is rapidly disappearing. The next day. Now then, you all even had room for a midnight snack, but I must declare something. Those who don't work, do not eat. My ingredient stock is rapidly decreasing. To replenish it, you all must perform some hunting. Basically, if you are able to defeat monsters, I might be willing to cook them for you. You got that? Naofumi, TL, food, the best way to raise a lowly army. Yet, kids in unison. They're being surprisingly honest. Even Keel, who had previously shown animosity towards me, is replying with enthusiasm. I'm a bit suspicious, but as long as they're motivated, I guess it all works out. I'll make today's dinner with what we have, but that's your last free meal. Don't forget that. Naofumi. Yes, kids in unison. Last night was quite hectic. No matter how much I made, they kept asking for more. What's more? They all seemed genuinely hungry. I get the feeling that I will be stuck in the kitchen for the rest of my life. What am I? A mother? I only plan to look over their growth, and eventually help them hunt. That's all it was supposed to be, but... Thank you for the food. Kids in unison. You're welcome, now go hunt until the evening. Naofumi. Got it. Kids in unison. They seem much more enthusiastic than yesterday, as they board Phiro's carriage. I hope they get at least 20 levels by the time they get back. The hero's cooking really is tasty. I should try my hardest as well. Soldier. The soldiers from the castle are also finding motivation in my cooking. Well, these people are already doing important work, so I'll let it slide. I begin preparing for dinner. Am I wasting my time here? I use the rest of my time helping the soldiers with their work. There's another important thing needed in ingredient procuration. And for that, I am having the shield make herbicide in large quantities. If a problem occurs, then I can deal with it immediately. And for that purpose as well, I must raise the levels of the slaves. If I used that carelessly, a mutation might occur, and I have no idea what will happen. For now, I should handle the seeds in the carriage with care. We're home. Kids in unison. They're all covered in dirt, but smiling as they return to the village. They're even more energetic before. In contrast, Rishia seems to be quite worn out. Raphtalia and Phiro don't seem tired at all, though. So, did you hunt successfully today? Naofumi. Yet, child. Of course. Child. The adaptability of a child is something to be feared. After 2 days, they are already used to it. I get the feeling Raphatalia took quite a bit longer to adapt. Then, I'll cook as promised. Naofumi. Hooray! Kids in unison. The children stampede towards the dinner I had prepared. Now then, Raphatalia. Naofumi. What is it? Raphatalia. After eating, there's something I have to do. You might get angry. Naofumi. What are you planning? Raphatalia. A jungle. Naofumi. It seems she understands what I was trying to say. Raphatalia stares at me with stern eyes. Are you planting that? Raphatalia. Yeah, this area is filled with forests anyways, so I don't see what difference it makes. Naofumi. But still, Raphatalia. The soil around here probably needs quite a bit of work. I did ask the slave dealer for a monster that would help in tending to the fields. Naofumi. I understand. You have no intention of changing your mind. Raphatalia. It helps that you're so understanding. Naofumi. If you consider efficiency, then I guess there's no choice. Raphatalia. I did raise Raphatalia to value efficiency over all else. Though she does care quite a bit about aesthetics as well. And I also completed quite a few tests. I learned to make many types of medicines. Naofumi. Wait a minute, are you meaning to say you plan on modifying that thing even further? Raphatalia. Yes, I plan to turn it into something that will bring in money quickly. Naofumi. Yes, my plan also puts money as a high priority. Rebuilding a village with only 8 slaves is impossible. Even if the slave dealer manages to find another slave or 2. I plan to modify it to make it easier to handle. I'll also watch to make sure no problems occur. Just in case, I have prepared a stock of pesticides. I'll keep at it until we gain a steady stream of food. Supplies. Naofumi. Sigh. Well, be careful. Raphatalia. I know, Naofumi. I won't do anything that will cause me to lose money. I only act to make a profit. The thing I'm planning may be able to have combat uses as well. As I'm mulling over these facts, I noticed the meal I had made had disappeared at an alarming rate. Thanks for the food. Kids in unison. You're welcome. Naofumi. I can hear some lively conversations. They've only been here a few days, but most of them are already used to their new lives. I guess that because this is their hometown, they are able to adjust quickly. They're not acting like slaves at all. But I guess that will make them mentally stronger later on. Now then, I have something important to tell you all. Make sure to listen well. Naofumi. What? Phiro. Phiro and the other slaves tilt their heads in curiosity. It's a bit of an amusing sight. Everyone follow me for a bit. Naofumi. I walk towards the fields. It seems everyone is actually following me. Here, I have a special type of seed. Naofumi. The slaves nod in unison. It was created in a faraway land, where it caused quite a bit of a problem. Naofumi. I think the soldiers have heard about it before. They are whispering amongst themselves. But I have modified it since then. You people needed a midnight snack last night, right? Naofumi. Why yeah, Keel. Keel is the one who responds. Please understand that I can't waste all of my time cooking for you people. Naofumi. But the hero of the shield's cooking is delicious. Keel. Yeah, I want to eat it every day. Child. If I am chained to the kitchen, then I can't do my job. It's not that I'll never cook for you people. If you work considerably hard, I may consider it. Naofumi. No matter how we progress on the village's reconstruction, we will always be in need for food. So I absolutely have to do this. Those who do not work do not eat, but those who do not eat cannot work. If they get enough food to fill their stomachs, their progress should improve. Now then, for the times that I'm not cooking, you'll have to use this to sate your hunger. Naofumi. I drop the seed into the ground and pour some water over it. The plant begins to grow before our eyes. The bioplant grows to about 3 meters, and begins to sprout tomato-like fruit. It may have other uses, but for now I will be filling the field with this seed. Your job is to manage this plant. Naofumi. What will we have to do? Keel. If it grows outside of its set area, you have to cut it. But for now, we haven't decided on its bounds. So I'll leave that decision to you. Naofumi. Is that fruit edible? Keel. Yeah, I think it has become the specialty of the village I got it at. Naofumi. At least I've seen it in the castle town being advertised as such. You can eat it if you get hungry. But if you see any problems occurring, make sure to report it to an adult. That's all. Naofumi. I pluck one of the large fruits and hand it to Phiro. Phiro starts eating it, but her expression shows that it isn't enough to satisfy her. Following her lead, some of the other children begin to pluck the fruit and eat it. Amazing, child. Yeah, child. At first I thought that rebuilding the village would be impossible, but if it's this person, he may be able to do it. Child. Perhaps my reputation has gotten better. Or that may be my imagination. I told you that's all. You are dismissed. Naofumi. If the cultivation of this fruit is a success, we can end our food supply problem all at once. It can also be said that if we didn't end this problem, then I would never be able to train these kids to be competent fighters in the time we had left. I think it's time for me to see how far the knowledge I brought with me from my world will be able to take me. Now then, the moment of truth is upon us. The next morning, I give instruction to the group managing the bioplant. Ow, child. The slaves are taking some damage while handling it. But that pain builds character. I check everyone's level. As I thought, they are all around level 20. Rishia got to level 27. Rafatalia's level is unchanged. But the food shortage has been solved. All's well with the world. Goo. I hear someone's stomach growling. When is breakfast? Child. Today I prepared it beforehand. Naofumi. TL, he says, today I packed bento to be more specific. I had made wooden boxes with steel reinforcement and loaded them on the carriage. By the way, the contents of them are sandwiches containing thinly carved grilled meat. We're leaving already. Keel. Keel says this with defiance. He's been making quite a few such comments lately. Perfect. Today is the day I correct his attitude. You're saying that because you don't respect my sincerity. Just go with the flow and take a break. For breakfast. Otherwise, something terrible might happen. Naofumi. Keel. Phiro, go take a walk. Naofumi. If you don't eat it quickly, the wild monsters may take it away. But Keel has gotten stronger, he should be able to deal with monsters of this caliber. Phiro probably gets it. She won't go to areas with too high difficulty. With this, Keel will be able to fight the motion sickness that Rafathalia suffered from as well. Just as planned. What? If you get used to it, it's not a problem. Well, if you expel the food right after eating it, I guess there's no point. If he learns to eat while riding it's killing two birds with one stone. Naofumi-sama. You're going too far. Rafathalia. Rafathalia says this while poking her head out of the carriage. Rishia also had to learn to get used to it. Naofumi. Phew, Rishia. Even though I warned you, you're still making that sound. Should I eat your breakfast for you? Naofumi. I am working on it, you know, Rishia. Her voice is weak. Well, it probably won't be fixed anytime soon. I hand over bags made of bioplant to the slaves. What is this? Keel. You'll understand soon. Now then, have fun. Naofumi. I lightly hit Phiro's back, and she starts running. I'll be off. Phiro. WA. Child. Wa dash. Child. Child. With a rumbling sound, the carriage disappears into the horizon. I guess I should begin other preparations. Naofumi. Now that a steady source of food has been secured, I can move on to the next stage of my plan. Hero of the Shield. Soldier. What is it? Are we out of seeds? Naofumi. No, there are no problems regarding that, but what about our breakfast? Soldier. Your breakfast? Why is it already determined that I'm supposed to make it? Yeah, I've prepared it. Naofumi. I distribute food among the soldiers. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero chapter 137, The People of the Sea. Note people is written here as men and women. Gara 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 gara. On that day, a carriage with the supplies from the queen arrived. I heard the hero of the shield could be found here. Knight. What do you need? Naofumi. The knight who came with the carriage addresses me. I think I've seen this face before. I think she was practicing swordsmanship with Raphatalia. Her appearance is that of a standard female knight from a game. If she takes off her helmet, I think her face will rival Raphatalia's in beauty. Her hair is long and strawberry blonde. Most of it is stuffed into her helmet. Her eyes are blue, like Phyros. She looks like she would fit the role of a wicked queen perfectly. She is accompanied by other knights, one of whom I recognize as part of volunteer army that helped me during the wave before the last. Hero of the Shield. Volunteer. You. How have you been? Naofumi. We're working hard on rebuilding the city. Volunteer. I'll bet. But, that's not what I'm asking. What has happened to you guys since then? Naofumi. Nothing major has changed. I've been sent here to act as a messengers while the others here are reinforcements. Volunteer. Ah, I see. Naofumi. The queen seems to have completely grasped my train of thought. She has already sent more personnel. For now, it's just me, but I have been instructed to act as the official messenger between here and the castle. Volunteer. Not the shadows. Naofumi. Those people are to act as the unofficial messengers. Volunteer. What's the difference? Well, it doesn't really matter. I've been asked to act as a martial arts instructor for the slaves. Female knight. Ah, that will be helpful. Naofumi. Raphatalia is mostly self-taught. It's good to have someone with professional training experience. So, where are the ever so important slaves right now? Female knight. I sent them out to level grind. I think they'll be around level 25 when they get back. Naofumi. Famu. Your lessons sure are fast-paced. Female knight. It's Spartan style. Also, I plan to have around 30 more people for non-combat related purposes. Naofumi. For what purpose would that be? Volunteer. This and that. Well, we also need to rebuild the buildings. Naofumi. Understood, I'll relay that to the castle. Volunteer. Now then, I need to move on to the next task as well. Recently I've been researching various plants. I'm trying to see why I can't modify certain substances. There are quite a few faults to my modification skills. For some reason, there are some plants I can edit and some I cannot. In that respect, the bioplant is very easy to modify. So I'll see if I can make that bioplant produce some simple medicine. I finish readying a plot for the plant without issue. The hero of the shield sure is enthusiastic. Keel. Keel, who had just returned, stumbles out of the carriage. He has stopped complaining to me about cooking, but Q. His stomach still growls. A few days later. Ahaha. Child. The slaves are having fun climbing up the bioplant. Their levels have all passed 30. Their appearances also changed, and they now look to be around 14 to 15 years old. They only look slightly younger than Raphatalia. They have started to look an age that can actually be sent out to battle. They seem to be growing quite healthily. Their appearance, well, I would put it above village children. But there is no one here who rivals Raphatalia in looks. It just seems that they are eating proper meals. Out of the boys, the one with the best face is probably Keel. His face looks like a girl's. He might grow into a pretty boy one day, TL, Bishonen. Rather than saying he looks like a boy, it would be more accurate to say he looks like a boyish girl. Not that it matters to me. Hey, Shield Nyakan. We've only been having meat and vegetables for a while. I'm tired of it. Keel. TL, I'm debating whether or not to translate Shield Nyakan as Shield Bro. Don't be selfish. Naofumi. For some reason, he's started to become quite impudent. It's getting to be quite a pain to deal with. I should try to set him straight, but he does his work fine, so there's not much I can do. He's been acting quite familiar with me. He's talking to me as a younger brother rather than a slave. He has also begun to say, thank you when getting food. As long as he's motivated. It seems many of these children were used for physical labor before. It may seem strange coming from me, but many consider it unethical to send child slaves into battle. They are mostly used for other purposes. They are quite skillful at physical work. Hey, I'm going to go off to the ocean and catch some fish, so please cook them, Nii-chan. Keel. I don't remember becoming your brother. Naofumi. Keel is definitely looking down on me. Should I lecture him? Oh right, Keel seems to be shorter than the other boys. His voice is also higher. I would also like some fish. Rishia. Rishia and the other slaves voice out their agreement. Nyakan, I want to eat seafood. Keel. Yeah. Child. Seafood. Child. Damn, it seems I have mass-produced Phyros. It's a good thing the eggs haven't hatched yet. There's no way I could handle a strange monster joining in here. Ah, I got it. Today we'll go to the beach to catch some fish. While we're there, Phyro, go swim out and capture some aquatic monsters. Naofumi. Yes. Children in unison. And so it turned out that we were headed for the sea. Well, it has been getting quite hot lately. Swimming around a bit won't hurt. These people. They lived here before, so they can swim, right? And so, after a short walk, we reach our destination. Kaya haha. Children. And so the slaves enthusiastically run out towards the water carrying harpoons. They all take off their clothes and enter in their underwear. In the middle of this, I noticed. Raphatalia and Rishion noticed as well. Naofumi-sama. Raphatalia. Rishia. Phyro. Go catch Keel. Naofumi. I got it. Phyro. What is it? Keel. Phyro drags Keel out of the ocean. Keel is violently struggling under Phyro's arm. What is it, Shield Nii-chan? Keel. Let me say this first. I don't really care, but there is something I must point out a large problem in. The way you act. Naofumi. And I'm asking what it is. Keel. The other slaves notice the commotion, and come over. They seem to have caught on to the problem. Keel-kun, are you possibly supposed to be Keel-chan? Raphatalia. What are you talking about? I'm a boy. Keel. Keel's chest has a bandage wrapped around it, and she is wearing a loincloth below. For obvious reasons, Raphatalia is pointing at Keel's nether regions. Recently I have been unable to read Raphatalia's behavior. It may be that meeting up with old friends has restored some lost parts of her personality. Keel-kun, do you know the difference between a man and a woman? Raphatalia. Keel. You know. A man is someone who has, Raphatalia. Raphatalia begins whispering in Keel's ear. That can't be true. If I were God, I wouldn't do something so painstaking as to differentiate men and women like that. Keel. Then please look at the other boys. No, look at Naofumi-sama. He's a bit different, isn't he? His chest isn't wrapped right. Raphatalia. What are you talking about? That's what happens when you become an adult. I just have a bit of excess fat so my chest sticks out. When I become an adult, it will fix itself. The BS is spilling out at quite an alarming rate. How the hell was Keel raised before becoming a slave? I have too many questions. Or was she perhaps raised without such standards? Was she allowed to freely choose her definition? For male and female? Whatever the case, she was definitely raised abnormally. Anyways, how did no one notice during the time he was a slave? Was this part of the slave dealer's schemes? If I were the slave dealer, I wouldn't go to the trouble of changing a slave's worldview, and would just sell her as is. This country is quite rotten. There's probably a perverted noble who would buy her thinking she were a pretty boy. And maybe another pervert who found Keel's lack of gender identity to be a turn-on. All this just raises her selling price. It seems she has already been sold a few times. I think I heard that she had broken too many plates at her last place and had thus been returned. Keel also has some signs of significant physical abuse, so I guess she didn't receive any preferential treatment. It seems that the abuse of demi-human slaves is quite common in this country. Raphtalia also showed such signs of abuse. I guess this is the after effects of the recent war with Siltwelt. Out of the 8 slaves, one of them said that they were saved by a hero before. I guess even those people can't stand to see children being abused. I see that they had left the issue to the country, and the child had eventually been resold as a slave. Anyways, in the few days since she came here, I've gotten a good grasp on what personality Keel has. Around 6 of the new slaves still act cautiously when away from Raphtalia. But that isn't an issue I have any influence over. I'll leave that to Raphtalia and Rishia. At night, Raphtalia puts the other children to sleep, and sometimes sleeps next to them. She also went through a similar experience, so she is able to understand their problems. Even if I stay around, I don't think they will open their hearts to me. Phiro, being Phiro, is able to interact well with them. She seems to be good with dealing with children in general, that bird. This may be similar to the practice of animal therapy. TL, Google it. However, the children still get nauseous at the sight of her prized carriage. But father said that a man is a man if he thinks he is a man no matter what. Keel. So did the daughter began to imitate her father's manly attitude? And anyways, that talk in itself is implying that you are a woman. She was raised like someone from a story I had heard about. TL, I don't know the reference. Possibly Yukimura of Boku wa Tomodachi ga Tsukunao. The other female slaves laugh amongst themselves. I've heard some women like to imagine boys who cross-dress, but what do they think of a girl who wants to be a man of the sea? This can't be. I mean, what's the point of separating man and woman anyways? I don't even know anymore. Keel. Author note, TL, the real one. Keel wasn't meant to be an important character, however the personality I gave him overlapped with another male character I planned to make down the road, so I decided to give him a little quirk. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 138, Same Sex Only. I don't know the real meaning of being a man and a woman, Keel. She had always known that she was a man, now she's really confused. Right? Phiro? Why are you butting in? The reason they separate man and woman, is it because they mate? Phiro. Keel was confused with Phiro's answer. Read the situation, with a sweet sound reverberating in the air, Phiro just defined what it is to be a man and a woman. How straightforward, it looks like she understood most of what Phiro was saying. I look at Raphtalia direction and shook my head. Well, Rishia? Looked at their direction, it's different, she shouted. Why do you know so much? Bird. Naofumi. Come on. Phiro knew from the start, Phiro. Is it genetic memory? No. Maybe something happened with a male Philorial that she happened to meet in the forest. That certainly is suspicious, Naofumi. Phiro shouted to complain about what I said. When you think about it, Phiro lays eggs. Boo. Phiro. This has become really annoying. Everyone, including Raphtalia, everyone's face has turned red. Young man. It's as if they've just emerged from the sea. Is everyone alright? I don't like it. I can't do such a thing. I will never do such a thing with Shield Nyakan, Keel. TLN, I think the one talking I Keel because you know the Nyakan thing. Why would I do such a thing? Naofumi. I want them to stop saying things like I'm raising them because of my ulterior motives. Damn. This is frustrating. This topic of love affair is really getting on my nerves. I want bitch to get captured soon to be punished and receive divine retribution. Stop already with this stupid topic, at least for the time being. Love is prohibited, Naofumi. Children. The slaves were protesting. Whatever you say is useless. This is to fight the incoming wave, not the declining birth rate. I'm not here to take care of all of you, there's simply no room for baggage. Don't think about such trivial things, do that when the world is already at peace, Naofumi. I don't get it, TLN, I don't know who's talking. Why? Why is such a thing decided? Because I don't like it. Look, Raphtalia doesn't like it. Either, Naofumi. Raphtalia. Naofumi. Raphtalia. For some reason I raised my voice to Raphtalia. Ah! I was trying to change the topic. Seems like Raphtalia understood. Our purpose is to fight the wave 3.5 months from now. I will take those who wishes to fight the wave with us. Of course I will not force you if you don't want to, Naofumi. That wave. Child. Right. I was summoned here to fight the wave that took the lives of your family. So tell me if you want to fight, Naofumi. Just 8 people. I need more people. I want to establish several groups. A guy from the battle squad that wants to volunteer would be ideal. These guys are still unsuitable for battle. After hearing my words, Keel remains silent. Because I'm a woman, am I useless? Keel. Huh? That's not true. Look around me, Naofumi. I'm pointing towards Raphtalia, Phiro, and Rishia. Come to think of it, why are they all women? Unbelievable. Keel. Keel was sharp. This is annoying. You. What do you want to do? Are you joining? Naofumi. Love prohibition, you just want woman to serve you, Keel. TLN. It was hard to understand. Apart from me, Raphtalia has no problem with another man, Naofumi. Raphtalia. Yet. Raphtalia. See Phiro, Naofumi. Male have no problem, Naofumi. Boo. Phiro. Men and women are equal, I use whoever is efficient, so don't be mistaken, Naofumi. I see. Shielduniakan, I see 2 swords. Girl. One of the slave girls mutters alone. Seems like she misunderstood something. That's wrong, Naofumi. What? What 2 sword? Phiro. Phiro doesn't know what I'm saying. After all, it's just genetic memory. That time when I heard that I was sold. To explain that. Anyways, it's troubling that love will make you unable to fight. Therefore love is prohibited, Naofumi. The slaves were satisfied except for Keel, who nods unwillingly. I see. I guess I need to give my best in fighting, Keel. Ah. However, thinking about after the war, no, my preference may become popular, Keel must practice peddling, Naofumi. What is that? Keel. Your face looks good, so I was thinking of using that. But you are timid, so I guess you're unsuitable in peddling, Naofumi. Me? And no way. Keel. It's okay. Oh. It'll be fine, you should always go to the streets. Humans have more nasty ways of entertainment, Naofumi. Shield Nyakan, the way you're saying that is scary, Keel. Was it a strange thing to say? Anyways, if I brought Keel in peddling, I'm sure that I'll be able to sell a lot of accessories to the ladies. Together with Raphtalia, men and women would line up and give their money for the accessories. Ah. Keel, Naofumi. What is it? Keel. I accept same-sex relationships. So have fun with Raphtalia as much as you want, Naofumi. It looked like I was jealous. Such a thing, do you want Raphtalia-chan to kill me? Keel. You may unexpectedly fall and roll. Based on what I read in manga, Raphtalia is the type that is likely not to refuse, Naofumi. What is manga? Keel. That thing is good. Anyways, I'd like it if Raphtalia was a little rebellious, Naofumi. Keel began to tremble. The look from earlier. Naofumi-sama. Raphtalia. Oozing with bloodthirst, Raphtalia approached me while smiling. I think I might have touched a forbidden subject. It's for that reason. Everyone disband, bring those seafood, Raphtalia. Yes. Children. After a while the female knight came to the beach. I heard you were playing in the beach, so it's true, female knight. I'm just giving them a reward, these guys did their best recently, Naofumi. I think they've been rewarded plenty enough. Certainly, but I also want to go to the beach and eat some seafood. Why don't you have some fun as well, Naofumi? Female knight came to sea with a swimsuit. And began to swim together with Raphtalia. Despite being so shrewd, you prepared that kind of swimsuit. What country is this? Speaking of this woman, she has strangely good relationship with Raphtalia. Unrelated to the previous topic, it may be a little related. Actually, to love another person is good. It will increase your worries, but they will be there to accompany you. Naofumi-sama. Raphtalia. Raphtalia waves her hands. What happened? Were you drowning? Naofumi. I won't be speaking if I was drowning that. Why are you being rude, Raphtalia? Why is Raphtalia being rebellious? I also noticed Phiro. What's with that expression? It's as if they're doing some business. Deceiving is useless, you know, female knight. Ah. Yes, it's a good thing to become healthy, Raphtalia. TLN, I have no idea what they're talking about. This could be troublesome, I assume. Shield Nyakan, I caught it. Keel. You could see the joy in her face when she caught the shellfish in the net. Yes, Naofumi. The grill is already hot. It's ready for grilling. Food supply is already stable, so there won't be any problems. Eat up, after eating we'll go back, Naofumi. Understood. Such a feeling today again, I'm irresponsible, I want to stop cooking for them. A little bit more time, the monster eggs will hatch soon. It's past noon and everyone is preparing to get back to the village. I think the monster eggs are about to hatch. Yesterday the incubation period of the monster eggs in the contract is almost about done. So I went to the shed to check the monster eggs status. Shield Nyakan. What are you doing? Keel. Just stockpiling food supplies, also the monster eggs are ready to hatch anytime soon, Naofumi. Wow. Keel. Problem is, that Philorial, Naofumi. That bird is really excellent at pulling carriages, but I feel anxious that there may become two monsters with really huge appetites. Phiro. Naofumi. Phiro tilted her head curiously. It's different, this egg is not a Philorial, Naofumi. Phiro-chan has a younger sister and a younger brother. TLN, I don't know if this is Phiro talking in third person. Amazing. Phiro. Wow. TLN again, don't know who's talking, well for sure it's either Keel or Phiro. So noisy. If you look at their appearance they're just like middle school students, they're childlike. No such thing? Categorically speaking, that is right, Naofumi. Master, will the newborn child would like to become Phiro? Phiro. It's a pain to answer Phiro's question. Well, whatever. I want the monster to be able to pull a carriage, but the huge appetite is unnecessary, Naofumi. HMMP, perhaps. Okay, Phiro. I faced Phiro and gave such a reply. You're not what master wants, you're probably like Phiro, Phiro. Phiro's ahog is moving towards the monster egg. There's something in there. Is Phiro's family born? Phiro. Family. If you think about it, this Philorial will become a follower to the Philorial queen. Well then what will he become? Master, I hope he becomes something amazing, Phiro. TLNI, this is the best translation I could come up with. Will you do that? Naofumi. Yeah, Phiro. Phiro is pouring some magic on the egg as she touches it. This egg will never be the same as Phiro, Phiro. Ah. I'm safe, Naofumi. But still there is a possibility that this newborn will end up the same as Phiro. If you consider how huge Phiro became, it'll surely become noisy. I guess there's no helping it. Depending on the result, we may leave raising of the Philorial to Phiro. The eggs hatched. Pi. Baby chick. One animal was a Philorial chick. It was a slightly purplish kid. Next were two caterpillars. When these grow up they'll be able to pull carriages. I called them caterpillans. I absorbed their eggshells into the shield but there was no effect. Next there were three earthworms. They appear to be a monster called a dune. Can I leave the soil maintenance to these guys? I set the basic prohibitions. You're in charge of leveling this guy up, Naofumi. Yes. TLN, same problem. I don't know who answered, but probably this is Phiro. The children felt like they became a parent to the pet, they were carrying it with on their shoulders as they went to the carriage. The Philorial chick went to Phiro and happily sat on top of her head. Paa, the chick is singing. In these past few days I was only watching if the kids were in trouble. Me, who's from another world, did I just become their foster parent? If we lose the wave, I guess all the hard work that we invested will all go to waste. Ah, after. Girl. What? Rapped Alia. I'll slowly learn how to cook so that I could make food for everyone anytime. Well, mainly because I'm not good with fighting, girl. Then, girl. The slave girl went down from the carriage. Good for you, rapped Alia. Certainly, the one wanting to learn how to cook was the one who requested midnight snack from Raphtalia. Yet, I really like cooking. But fighting is a little, girl. Is that so? Then do your best, rapped Alia. Yeah, girl. The girl nodded and stood next to me. I'm going now, girl. Raphtalia waved her hands. Yeah, be safe. Raphtalia. Raphtalia-chan, is it alright to be that carefree? Keel. Ha. Raphtalia. While waving to the girl who wants to be a cook, she muttered. What are you talking about? Hey. Don't worry. What's that? Well then, I'm going. Yes sir. The carriage made a clattering sound. Now, then assist me. Yes. And thus I taught the child how to cook. Though, for some reason the guy's food was a mess. It was so bad that the food, that the shield produced is a lot tastier. Shield Nyakan is really good with his hands. Is that so? Yeah, Fish Demon was really good. Is that so? I said not to feel bad about it. This delicious dish was made by the power of the shield. I just imagine the taste and then cook it. Yeah, then Shield Nyakan will teach me how to cook that dish. I ended up stepping on a landmine, but I still answered with a smile. It's good that I smiled. Speaking of the results, I ended up in the position where I was taught. Oh well, it's okay. This child really likes cooking, I hope she becomes very good at it. She will become a big deal. Someday. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 139, The Shield's Brand. It's been a week since I acquired my land and began babysitting these kids. The soldiers have pretty much finished restoring most of the salvageable houses. I guess it's time to start on the next stage of the plan. Following Phiro's orders, the new Philo Real is pulling the carriage back and forth. I guess it will be nice to ride in a carriage that doesn't talk back for once. I'm currently playing fetch with Phiro in relatively good spirits. I'm doing it while the other slaves are asleep, as Phiro does not care about her surroundings. The catty pylons have also become quite large, and we are currently building a carriage for them. This monster seems to be a herbivore that enjoys gnawing on bioplant stalks. This kills 2 birds in 1 stone. The slave dealer does good work, it's also quite easy to handle. Its only fault is its speed. It can't go very fast, or far. Visiting the neighboring towns seems to be its limit. The dune worms have become relatively large as well. I'm leaving the maintenance of the soil around here to them. This monster is also quite docile. Wild dunes seem to spend their lives peacefully underground. It is very rare for one to get into a fight. Domestic dune will fight if ordered, but they aren't very strong. Well then, I think it's time to restart my peddling. How is it? Keel. I had prepared 2 sets of clothing for Keel. The first was one fit for her preferences, a manly set of armor. The other one is a frilly one-piece. Keel is blushing and waiting for my appraisal. Perfect. Make sure you act clumsy and embarrassed while we sell things. Naofumi. Shield Nii-chan. Why do I have to do something like this? Keel. Of course, for the money. If we don't have funds, we cannot restore the village. Naofumi. I am embarrassed, Nii-chan, Keel. I plan to have Phiro manage the front, while I watch over the stock. I also plan to sell medicines made by Keel, with Raphitalia's help. Rishia, I leave the village's management and level raising to you. Naofumi. G got it. Rishia. I need to teach the slaves how to peddle. If I don't, then raising funds will get increasingly difficult. If I circle the country with a carriage advertising my brand, rumors should spread quickly. That's why I have been spending all of my free time making medicines. By the way, due to the teachings in compounding I received before the battle with the spirit turtle, I can make some advanced medicines as well. As long as I'm there, we should be able to solve most problems, including serious disease. Though this is just my opinion. Then, we're off dash. Naofumi. Wei Nii-chan. I still haven't gotten used to Vi dash, Keel. Ignoring Keel, we set off. It only took 1 hour to visit the neighboring villages. This is all thanks to Phiro's legs. I see some familiar faces as I go from town to town. It's a bit of a strange feeling. Saint Sama was the hero of the shield. Customer. Yet. I thought it would be bad for business if my identity got out. Naofumi. I apologize for my behavior back then. Customer. Don't let it bother you. Naofumi. The bad rumors about me have already died down. Even though I hadn't done anything at the time, I was still being called the devil of the shield. I had been faced with quite a bit of undue resentment. But I don't have any reason to mull over it now. As long as I get paid, I don't mind. I don't put customers before everything else. Those were the words of an actor. This is reality. I got some land, and am training some people to combat the wave. In order to prepare for it, I am also selling medicine and arms. If you need anything, please ask. You can find me in the carriage. Marked with the shield insignia. Naofumi. Right now, there is a sign with a picture of a shield attached to the side of my carriage. It's only been a couple of days since you defeated that monster, but the hero of the shield is already trying to help the populace. You must really care for this country's people. Customer. Yeah, but there isn't too much I can do by myself. If you would spread the word of the shield brand, I would be grateful. Naofumi. And thus, like this, I spread the name of my peddling business. Phiro also serves as a form of advertisement, as she is a Philo Real queen. But her constant chatter is annoying. If I had someone to manage her, it would be helpful, but I don't think there are many who would like to deal with her. I'll buy some things to support the efforts of the shield. Customer. Much obliged. Naofumi. And, for once, the rumors were working in my favor. The good rumors of my carriage spread like wildfire. Some people rush to greet us as we arrive at certain towns. It's quite remarkable that gossip can travel faster than Phiro's legs. Shield Nyakan. Are you sure this is all right? Keel. Keel, who is managing sales, comes up to me with an embarrassed face. Yeah, your business smile isn't as good as Rafatalia's, but some people might find your clumsy, awkward display to be a turn-on. Naofumi. Is that supposed to be a compliment? Keel. Yes. Clumsy, innocent characters seem to have a healing effect on people. This holds true in any world. Rafathalia and Phiro are also doing well. It seems that I will be making quite a bit of profit from this enterprise. Our sales are quite steady. At this stage, we can't really spare personnel to gather herbs. However, even the worst of ingredients can be made into medicine of normal quality with the shield. These normal medicines can then be compounded by hand to make higher level medicines of quality greater than normal. I can expect quite a bit in this trip. For now, I need to prepare enough medicine for all the towns we will stop at. It's good that I prepared a lot beforehand. We continue our peddling for the next 3 days before returning to the village. We occasionally buy herbs from passing merchants. I feed these to the shield to make more medicine. Keel and the other slaves observed my actions and learned how to peddle, or at least that was the plan. My, if it isn't the hero of the shield. Slave dealer. When it gets dark, the slave dealer appears at the village. He is accompanied by some sturdy-built adults. It's a bit of a surreal scene. The other slaves hide in fear. What is it? It's rare seeing you outside of your store. Naofumi. How are you doing? How are the slaves? Slave dealer. We're moving ahead on schedule. Anyways, why are you here? Answer me. Naofumi. That's good to hear. Slave dealer. So you won't answer. Calm down, don't get swept up into his pace. Today, I came here to deliver the slaves ordered by the hero of the shield. Yes, slave dealer. Ah, so you were able to find them. Naofumi. Yes. Slave dealer. The slave dealer goes into his carriage, and out come about 10 people. They are all shaking in fear. Rafathalia looks through them for people she knows. She talks to them in the same way that she talked to Keel. But there are 3 children here that I don't know. Rafathalia. Did I make a mistake? Slave dealer. The slave dealer claps his hands, and his men move to return the 3 children to the carriage. You don't have to worry about it. Naofumi. And why would that be? Slave dealer. The slave dealer tilts his head. I don't plan to only use people from this village. As long as they don't bear any extreme hatred towards me, I will take them in. Naofumi. Well, he literally says as long as they aren't radicals of the Shield faith. I plan to hire other people as well, anyways. There's no reason to go to the trouble of returning them. There's no downside of having more manpower. You all. Just because they're not from this village, don't leave them out. If I see any bullying, then I'll sell the culprits without hesitation. Naofumi. Yes, slaves. My slaves answer as such. Well, they may bond as fellow slaves. There shouldn't be too much of a problem. But with increasing numbers, there may be more problems. I should be cautious. After the slave registration process finishes, I unchain them. Are you all right? Raphatalia. Raphatalia, Phiro, Rishia, Keel, and the other slaves comfort the shaking new recruits. I'm fine, slave. It seems it will take a while for them to open up their hearts. Shield Nii-chan, Keel. What? Naofumi. Let's make some food and have a welcoming party. Of course, Nii-chan is cooking. Keel. Keel answers with enthusiasm. What do you mean, of course I'm cooking? Well, I did it for you guys too. Naofumi. Why yet? Keel. The party was my intention from the start. Everyone, please help out. Naofumi. Yes. Everyone not new. A strange sense of camaraderie has been born among the slaves. This may be helpful sometime later. For your slaves to be this motivated, you sure are good at handling them. It makes my heart race. Slave dealer. Yeah, keep thinking that. Naofumi. I chuck a bag of coins at the slave dealer. I don't think I will be seeing any of that money again. Please continue to collect some useful demi-human slaves. Naofumi. As you command. Slave dealer. Now, excluding Raphatalia and Rishia, the village has a total of 18 slaves. Including monsters, I have amassed quite a few members. How about the monsters? Slave dealer. I will probably need more soon. Naofumi. Then, I shall bring some with me the next time I arrive. Do you have any requests, slave dealer? The same species as before will do just fine. Naofumi. Understood. Now then, I must be taking my leave. Slave dealer. Yeah, just go already. Naofumi. And so, I drove away the slave dealer and his men, or not. I would like to partake in the hero's homemade meal as well. Yes. Slave dealer. Yes? Your voice is too loud. I don't think he will leave until he eats. Damn it. I understand. Though I don't understand what people like about it so much. Just eat and leave. Naofumi. I appreciate it. Yes. Slave dealer. The slave dealer's men follow him. Their presence is ruining the taste. I have to think of some countermeasures for next time, or me having to cook will become standard. Practice. Read The Rising of the Shield Hero Chapter 140, Desertion and Discovery. Everyone's appetite had been sated, the slave merchant had also returned and night had descended. Hey? Are you really going to do it? Anon slave 1. Isn't it obvious, Anon slave 2. But, everyone was nice and the food was great. Anon slave 1. No, those guys are definitely trying to deceive us. Anon slave 2. It was noisy outside. It was dark and hard to see but, for some reason, the new slaves were running towards the fields. Ha, Anon slave. There was a somewhat strained atmosphere. Just what were they planning? Rustling they tried to push their way through the bioplants field. Runaway slaves. They got caught in the defenses I established. Hearing the scream, the other slaves left the house and headed towards the fields to examine the situation. Sigh, for the time being, I have to go out and have a look. Shield Nyakan. We heard a scream, Keel. When I exit the house, a concerned-looking Keel rushes over to me. It seems like Raphtalia went ahead to look at the situation. It's alright. There won't be any deaths. I've already prepared for the worst case scenario and only implemented some defensive measures, Naofumi. Worst case scenario. Keel. I could bind them with the slave crest, but then there's the problem of being unable to give detailed orders. Well, in short, I'm talking about desertion, Naofumi. Yes, the slave crest has the possibility of prohibiting desertion itself. Once they leave the grounds, inducing death was even possible, but, as one would expect, I paid no small amount for these guys, so killing them would be bad. Besides, I have plans to designate slaves to peddle outside the village. That's why I configured the penalties to only cause chest pains for all the slaves staying in the village at night. Wow! He help! Runaway slaves! The monsters I used to maintain the soil, dunes, had emerged from underground, coiled around the 3 slaves who tried to escape and hung them up in midair. I had given instructions to the dunes so that anyone fleeing from the established site would be apprehended. To abscond so suddenly, aren't these guys courageous? Naofumi. Naofumi-sama. Raphtalia. After discovering the circumstances, Raphtalia joined us with an urgent-looking expression. I thought this commotion of escaping would happen sometime, but it was later than I had expected. That was because Raphtalia's old friends became attached to me for some reason or another. Moreover, many of them had lived here to begin with. Now then, you guys, where were you planning to go after you escaped? Naofumi. I faced the slaves who were hanging in midair and inquired. Who's going to say anything? A non-slave too. The boy who was acting as the leader, replied. He definitely has a lot of spirit. It would be a great contest between Keel and him. Is that so? If you don't talk, then I'll let that fellow play around, but is that alright with you? Naofumi. A non-slave too, runaway slave leader. By the way, dunes also have their own personality, their appearance may be of a huge earthworm. But they're quite amiable and love to play. If it's this kind of rebellious kid, then I should let them play all night. To be honest, I don't have any obligation to raise a slave who just attempts to run away. I'd like to sell them back to the slave merchant immediately, but I will give them a chance. Look, just talk, Naofumi. Who's going to say anything? Runaway slave leader. If that's the case, I'll turn you into bait for my followers. Naofumi. I looked at the situation and gestured indirectly to Phiro. The slaves distanced themselves from Phiro. Phiro-chan also eats people. Keel. She does have quite an appetite, Naofumi. If you defy Shield Nyakan, you'll be bait? Seriously? Keel. The slaves gathered together and whispered. She was just standing around in her human form, but, read the mood and turn into your monster form. No. Phiro. That Phiro, she denied it. Did she learn some culture when she came here? No way, such unnecessary knowledge. Raphtalia whispered to the slaves quietly. Naofumi-sama is saying that kind of thing, but... Raphtalia. So really? A non-slave? Shield Nyakan is somewhat naive, Keel. I can hear you. You brats. Naofumi. Geez, now I can't use dignity or bullshit. Runaway slave leader. The leader of the captured slaves also had a doubtful face. You should read the atmosphere. But the thing about becoming monster bait is real. If I order you to, then it won't mean that no one will become bait. Naofumi. Become a caterpillar, become a dune. If I say be bait, then you might get eaten. When I turned my attention to the monster hut, the caterpillars were sleeping soundly. Will they turn into butterflies? I cast aside these needless thoughts. The dunes played with the slave children. They're huge, so they're great for using as threats. If this were an 18+ game, the caterpillars and worms would be used for sexual assault. Now talk, Naofumi. Ebe. Slave leader. Look, if you don't talk, then the dunes might get hungry and eat you, Naofumi. The slaves who originated from this village arbitrarily gave the dunes names, and they won't eat him, right? Was whispered around. I want to say that they only eat dirt, but now's not the time for that. At the worst, another Philorial will eat you guys, Naofumi. Eat us. Slave leader. I could feel a gaze from the hut. I shook my head with a swish. Everyone was raised naively. Look, they're waiting impatiently. Naofumi. Eat. Eat. Slaves. The chant changed the mood, but for those who didn't know what life in the village was like, it would appear to be excitement. It would have been great if I could have used this from the beginning. What's your answer? Naofumi. Fine. But you have to spare the others. Slave leader. The runaway slaves' leader reluctantly revealed their story. It seems to just be gossip among the slaves, but in Melromark's harbor and other various places, there exists a faction that's stipulating the release of slaves. In that faction, a plausible rumor is being spread around saying that demi-humans can have their slave crest unconditionally removed and will be set free in foreign countries. Are these Siltwelt's people? No, for argument's sake, even if they resembled Siltwelt or Skildfrieden's people, it seems that recognition of the same species is strong. If I had a slogan that said that I would unconditionally free them in another country, I would have some sort of scheme to help me make a profit. Someone who would do that with good intentions doesn't exist. If we could use a boat, it would be convenient as transportation. To become the working force or a foreign county from a safe place, or something like that. That would be a crueler treatment than just being a slaves, it's felonious. Or it could possibly be that slave merchants circulated to recycle business. At the least, I saw that these guys just couldn't wait for their desired ending. However, it's a dependable technique for business. Using a smile to deceive the slaves who turn up. Come to think of it, the slave merchant said so before he left. No matter what, orphans have increased due to the spirit turtle's influence. There are people who become slaves prior to ending up as orphans, and it seems there are few human slaves, but I heard they make humans into slaves in other countries. It seems like the slave merchant is busy thanks to that sequence of events. He did leave pretty quickly after consuming the food I made. Did you guys know? Naofumi. Now that you mention it, I'm starting to remember, a non-slave. Yeah, there was that kind of story, a non-slave. If you knew about it then tell me earlier, geez. Shield Nyakan's place is just so comfortable that we totally forgot about it, Keel. Yeah. A non-slave. It was a good inclination, but somehow I feel like I'm being underrated. Next time you'd better tell me these things, Naofumi. Oka, why? Slaves. Because I have no idea where this money-making story comes from. Until now, we've just been revising our actions after things happen, but if we can read ahead of time, then we can not only keep damages to a minimum but it would even be possible to forestall them. Knowledge is power. Now then, desertion is a serious crime. However, I'm not a demon. You guys have only just come here, so I'll postpone it for a short while. Think about it carefully, Naofumi. I instructed the Dunes to release the slaves, who were then taken in by Raphtalia and the others. Educate them properly. That's all, Naofumi. The runaway slaves defiantly glared at me with hostility. If it doesn't seem like they've reflected, I'll sell them when the slave merchant comes again. I can recover my money back if I raise their levels, and if they become stronger than usual with the shield's correction skill, he'll probably buy them happily. Let's hope that they can get along with Raphtalia and the others until then. It's alright, this won't be like the other places where all you do is suffer pain, that's why we'd like you to help with our village, Raphtalia. Runaway slave. The three slaves murmured to Raphtalia and the other slaves and averted their faces uncomfortably. It has been very painful for you, hasn't it? However, a little bit, with just a short time it'll be fine, so I'd like you to compare him with your previous masters, Raphtalia. Runaway slave. You know, that person is the hero of the Shield Sama, Raphtalia. Runaway slave. You've heard the rumors, right? He's the one who saved this country and even become a legend. In the country of the demi-humans, Raphtalia. Why yet? I heard about it. Someday. That he's the Saint Sama who will save us demi-human slaves, runaway slave. Yes, and you know, that person may have a bad mouth, but he has been rebuilding the village to save us slaves, and we'd like you to become a part of that power, Raphtalia. But runaway slave. It's okay if you still don't believe it yet. Little by little, we'll show you proof that it's not a lie. Raphtalia. Well, for the time being I'll leave it to Raphtalia and the others. I returned to my room and resumed my compounding studies. I've become able to do a considerable amount of the difficult compounding. If I have all the ingredients I shouldn't fail. I have the materials prepared by the queen, so let's give it a try. The next day. Is Iwatani Dano here? Knight. The female knight came intruding early in the morning. What's up? Did the spirit turtle appear again? Naofumi. Can you even handle that much excitement? Knight. I'm still in the middle of recuperating. This time I'll have to rely on the 7-star heroes. Well, whatever happens, I also want to be able to participate in it. And? You seem to have some urgent business, Naofumi. I have a message from the queen. I was told to convey it immediately, Knight. The contents. Naofumi. It seems we've discovered a companion of the hero of the spear, Knight. What? Discovered a companion of Motoyasu? From her words, it doesn't appear to be bitch. So it comes to either woman 1 or woman 2. From this expression you can't tell who is who. Well, that's because I don't know their names. A corpse. Naofumi. Wrong. Everything seems to be that an aristocratic father was worried about his daughter, but she's fed up because she was forced to help with her mother's housework. Knight. It's a story I've heard before. It's about her. So now I'm supposed to use her to slay Motoyasu, hey. And in the end, she returned home and helped with work. Her assistants didn't seem very proactive, but that sounds like her. She would have felt it was troublesome. Don't you have to guard her? Naofumi. It seems we've listened to her circumstances. And so? We'd like Iwatani Dano to meet with that companion and ensnare the hero of the spear, Knight. I see, there's the possibility of her attempting to rejoin Motoyasu. We'll be gambling on whether it'll go well or not, but it would be good if we could catch Motoyasu. Will Motoyasu's companion cooperate with that plan? She might double-cross us and pass information back to Motoyasu, Naofumi. We've already assigned a shadow for surveillance. We've also received a report that she currently wants to cooperate, Knight. Naofumi. Well, if my assumption is correct, she could discern right from wrong when she cut ties. And now she was trying to protect her own position by plea bargaining. Understood. Where should I be heading? Naofumi. I'll give you the map, Knight. I received the map from the female knight and took Raphtalia and Phiro with me to prepare for our departure. You guys, please help the newbies level up, Naofumi. Yeah. Understood. Keel. I understand, Rishia. Rishia stood in the front and nodded. Sorry, Rishia. If there's information about Itsuki, then inviting you will take precedence. Yes. I'll be waiting, Rishia. Recently, Rishia's level had risen up to 35. It's almost time for a class up. As that may be, I want her to class up together with the others, so it'll be a bit later, but, for now, the capture of Motoyasu has the highest priority.